TGC Requiem, we are back with Death Shadow Jund. So far we're 2-2 in this league. We're going to be on the play for this fifth and final match. Just taking a peek at what we got here. We actually don't look too bad. We can absolutely turn on Tarfire to go Traverse. So I think what we want to do here is probably... I don't know. So here the problem with this hand is if we fetch into a Blood Crypt and don't hit a land with our Street Wraith or our next draw, then we cannot cast Traverse, even if we have Delirium. If we go black-green, 2, 3, I guess there's a chance by the time we need it we can get Traverse. I think we would actually just lead this on black-green. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. It's a little greedy with one land, but it's a pretty powerful hand actually if we can get to that second land without having to traverse. Just going to go ahead and cycle right off the bat to see if we hit a land. We do, so here we're confident to go black-green. Alright, so our opponent is on Lantern Control. Alright, so creatures aren't going to do anything. The Fatal Push is no good. He doesn't have access to another colored mana. Pixis and Lantern. I almost feel like we just want to take Lantern here. I think we have to take Inquisition though. Based on the fact that otherwise he's going to take our Traverse and then we are in big trouble. So unfortunately Inquisition it is. You gotta get a threat down early and hard against this deck. Academy Ruins are. Do we have a fetch? Excellent. So we can Inquisition his Abrupt Decay. The ball's a bit unnecessary here. And then we're just going to have to Tarfire him. Found his Ensnaring Bridge. Don't know that we have any way to beat it short of one of. Well, I guess we have Abrupt Decay and we have Liliana and we have Kolaghan's Command as ways to potentially beat the Ensnaring Bridge once down. And he's going to try and control our draw steps. Right now he has the ability to mill twice. So we're just gonna, he's gonna probably let us draw this. No? Okay, we're good with that. I really don't want to get too much lower. I think 5's good, but from there we're just gonna pretty much try and set. The second ensnaring bridge is going to be real problematic without the sideboard of Maelstrom Pulse. We're basically needing to draw perfect here. We need to draw Abrupt Decay and Kolaghan's Command, almost runner to have a chance, and those are our only two main board answers. So as soon as one of these ends up in the graveyard, we're just going to concede because we won't have any way to handle what's going on. So one thing we could look at here is we could potentially this doesn't really do us a whole lot of good. We could potentially dismember our own creature to get it small enough to attack, but that's probably a no-no here if he's able to cast whatever he gets with his Ancient Stirrings. Yeah. Just kind of spin that away. Liliana is definitely something we can play. And then we end up with the Dismember back on top. Still nothing for us here. Again, we're basically just looking for Kolaghan's Command and or Abrupt Decay. We actually need both. If he were to play his Inventor Sphere to go get a third Ensnaring Bridge, again, nothing we can do here. All we can try and do is shuffle away an Abrupt Decay or Kolaghan's Command if it appears on top. Of our own library. So he feels free to mill any number of our cards here. at our end step. Should throw out the Tarmogoyf just in case the nearly utterly impossible occurs. We wouldn't want to stray Abrupt Decay to somehow ruin the party. He's going to mill us out pretty fast here at the rate we're going. And there's no way he's going to let us draw this. As soon as he flicks this into the graveyard, we're... Alright, so there's nothing we can do. There's no point in playing along any longer. He has locked us out there. Alright, let's see what we can do post board. Heal spell bombs at least represent extra draws. Ancient Grudges, obviously pretty good. Collective Brutality could be a way to burn our opponent out, that's alright. Painful Truths lets us look at a few cards beyond what they can control at the top of the library. It's possible you can cut them on mana a little bit with Fulminator Mage, Maelstrom Pulse, obviously. So we definitely don't need any of these Fatal Pushes. The Tarfires are probably not very effective. Dismember's not likely very effective. The Shadow Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Traverse, Spellbomb. Probably could cut a Traverse. Liliana represents a way. Oh, excuse me, I'm pretty tired. I don't know that we really want to bring in the Fulminator Mages, though. I don't know that we need Ghor-Clan. I mean, it's extra power, which is traversable. I almost feel like attacking the mana base is a better bet. I think maybe cut one Traverse, and then maybe just two Fulminators. We're still off here. We definitely want the Death Shadows, Inquisitions, Thoughtseize, Street Wraith, Collective Brutality, Ancient Grudge, Temur Battle Rage. Yeah, you know, Surgical Extraction could be a pretty good tool in the matchup. I think we're actually going to cut two Traverse. Temur Battle Rage is good. I don't know, possible that we want to cut the Temur Battle Rage. We just want to get down, obviously we want to disrupt, we want to get down underneath them. We're going to keep this. The only risk here with this is if he gets to an Ensnaring Bridge, top deck, that's going to be frustrating. That's really all it comes down to. Plan is to attack his hand disruption to start. We don't want him taking our Death Shadow. Lantern, Stirrings, Decay. So we're going to start with taking the Stirrings. We don't want him to have any way to... I mean, he can't cast either of these cards right now anyway. But we want to reduce his ability to find the cards he wants to find. So Lantern, Welding Jar. So we know two of his cards. The Wood of Foothills is perfect. Blood Crypt, pretty great as well. I don't really care if we draw this or not. What you got? Lantern and Glimmervoid. So we're taking the Abrupt Decay, leaving him with Glimmervoid and Lantern. And then we just hope we can clock him before he top decks into a Ensnaring Bridge. Got a Pithing Needle on top. That doesn't do him a whole lot of good. Neither do our Inquisitions. He's going to shuffle his library, gets a Gross Quarter. Thought seizes us, probably going to take the Traverse for sure. We can drain him for 2, but if we do it, we'd have to do it definitely post-combat. But at this point, based on where we are, there's no reason to do that. I don't think there's anything he can do based on the current situation. Yeah. So we'll get the turn 5 win there. I think on the draw we may want, I don't know that we actually do. He's trying to empty his hand, so the Inquisitions become a little weaker in that regard. In fact, actually, maybe worth cutting one more Inquisition to up the Traverse count here. I mean, you know, now that I think about this, though, Tarfire is similar to Collective Brutality, could be good late game reach. Maybe it's a mistake to not. This is just not keepable. Ancient Grudge is good, but not from behind like that. I think we have to keep this one. Not the fastest hand, but Inquisition hopefully buys us time to get a Fulminator Mage down. Hopefully the Bauble will do some work for us. Comes the Stirrings. Codex Shredder. So we're just going to go get a Tomb here. Go stripping away at any ensnaring bridges we can get. Hope we can draw into the other one before he can cast it. Did not draw his third land there. Street Wraith is good for us. This could grow us and potentially get us into hand disruption, which it does not. He has his Glimmer Void, so he's going to get his Ensnaring Bridge down. Just going to allow him to Abrupt Decay. He has a Welding Jar to protect the bridge. So this may cause him to flicker the Traverse to the graveyard. We're okay with this. What we're doing is we're going to try and get another creature to live through the Abrupt Decay. Excellent. Fortunately, our opponent has an Academy Ruins on top of his deck as well. We'll be able to use the Codex Shredder on the Lily. He wants the Academy Ruins by the Academy Ruins with the lands he has is going to allow him to be able to start setting his Ensnaring Bridges back on top of the library. Alright, so we can attack the Academy Ruins, I think, here. He's going to get to put one Snaring Bridge back on top of his library, though. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. So we just want to make sure he can't do it the next time. It's possible, based on the timing there, that we might have been able to Thoughtseize him afterwards. I mean, he knew it was in our hands, though, or should have mostly known it was in our hands at that point. So Maelstrom Pulse is still a live draw. Ancient Grudge is a live draw. We're not out of the game by any stretch here. Kolaghan's Command is a live draw. Has another welding jar. We're going to have to deal with the welding jars before we can deal with the ensnaring bridges is the real problem. We're starting to run out of life points to give as well. The second welding jar is going to create a real problem. It's a possibility the other Lily might have been decent for no other reason than to recur the Street Wraiths. Of course, I did enough damage to myself early on. So those Bloodstained Mares are going to give us a couple draws. We obviously know what he has coming. He has 1, 2, 3 ways to shuffle our library. We have a similar number of ways to do it to ours. Now I'm a Spellskite, huh? He doesn't want the Spellskite. Similarly, we don't want the Fulminator Mage. Drew one anyway. Classic. Classic shuffle. So we're just gonna swing at the old Glimmer Void, try and make him cast his colored spells off the Spire of Industry. Like it matters. So we're going to start getting milled pretty hard here, and this will pretty much just be the end of it. We'll end up almost certainly going 0-2 in the, I'm sorry, 1-2 in the match and going 2-3 in the league. Bit of a bummer. Definitely feel like Death Shadow Jund has gotten a big target on its back at this point. People are quite familiar with how to play against it. The format started to evolve to be better against it. This is why I think I've probably been having more success against the or with the more aggro versions versus the grindier versions. So controlling his own library a little bit. Gonna cut this out of the way. ourselves a little bit of an extra draw later. Draw it anyway. Oh no, okay, it was the Bloodstained Mire. So we're going to fire this off at the Ensnaring Bridge. Odds are he's going to use Welding Jar to protect it. Here comes our Maelstrom Pulse. This is what we actually need. There's no way he's letting us draw this puppy. We're really needing to set up a Kolaghan's Command or Ancient Grudge into Maelstrom Pulse, but the problem is actually drawing it. We're also in a situation now where we can't cast Painful Truths for more than one. It's a little frustrating. He knows about the land, no point in beating around that. He's going to get an Abrupt Decay, doesn't really matter. Ancient Grudge, there we go. So unfortunately he has an Inventor's Fair. And he's going to use that Inventor's Fair to go get another Ensnaring Bridge. For what it's worth, it's pretty irrelevant. I mean, the only way we win here is by Maelstrom Pulsing the Ensnaring Bridges. I suppose we could try and hit the Lantern here so he can't control our draw steps. But again, he's just going to protect it with Welding Jar. My bigger concern is if I go for Lantern and he just lets it go. Could Stirrings into another one or Inventor's Fair into another one. I almost feel like we just have to go at the Welding Jar here. And then just hope that we can yeah, so the Painful Truths is nice, except we're not going to get to draw it. We could only do it for Painful Truths of 1 anyway. Suppose at this point, this puts us back up to 4 life, gives us a little more flexibility with our fetches. We're still basically needing a Maelstrom Pulse, that's what it comes down to. So there goes that hope. We still have an Abrupt Decay and a Kolaghan's Command. We're probably too late for a Liliana to be relevant. So we're not getting this Nihil Spellbomb either. Battle Rage is relevant. Liliana is too slow. I mean, Maelstrom Pulse is really all we had going for us. Kolaghan's Command and Abrupt Decay would be fine, but we're not going to get them. Not together, and so that's game. So it's possible I should have gone after Lantern earlier, but it still would have just gotten Welding Jarred. Short of having a Emrakul shuffle effect in the deck. Really nothing going on here that we can do anything about. As you can see, our library is down to 3 cards at this point. 2 cards now. He is getting the good old-fashioned mill. Abrupt Decay's last card in the deck. And when we go to our draw step, we will lose the game for not being able to draw any cards. And that is how Lantern Control ruins your face. Alright, well, League didn't go quite as well as I'd hoped. Again, it's a solid deck, it's a strong deck. I do feel like the meta, though, has really started shifting against it, which is kind of, I don't know. It's definitely a challenge. I know a lot of people were worried about it needing a ban very early, which I thought was very laughable. I made a comment in one of my earlier deck techs that, give the deck a few weeks for people to adjust and start to like build their decks a little different or play their other decks that are better. And that's what's happened. And so now, while Shadow was pretty phenomenal, it's definitely starting to weaken. I do feel like, however, there are more aggressive variants and possibly dipping into some of the other colors. Advantages to doing some different things with Shadow, and that's not to say that Shadow Jun is not good either. Just that you're going to have a lot more uphill battles than you did a couple weeks ago. So, anywho, that's about it for tonight. You guys have a good one.